We are the American Legion Department of New Jersey. Be the one.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
So I saw all the white hats raise their hand because they know how this works. How many of you here actually know what education, homeless, and employment is? Oh, sorry, and the red hat. All right, so I just lost my train of thought now. Okay, you get a homeless person that walks into your post, or you see somebody, they say they're a veteran. Do you guys know how to check? Let's see if this works. Does anybody know what to do? I'm going to skip through. What to look for, what to ask? It's not there. Okay, that's not good. Hang on. Sorry. You need to ask if they have any form of identification. DD-214, a VA card, a driver's license with the veteran logo on it. One of the things that the American Legion does is they help veterans with honorable discharges. We do get veterans that have other than honorable, general, and dishonorable. Doesn't mean we can't help them. It just means that the American Legion, we can't do a 3 to 5 day stay, but there are other organizations that the American Legion works with, other not-for-profit organizations that we've signed off on through this Bring Veterans Home initiative, which I'll talk about. Can you guys hear me? All right, so support for homeless veterans. The American Legion places special priority on the issue of veterans' homelessness, with veterans making up approximately 11% of our nation's total adult homeless population. And there's plenty of reason to give the cause special concern. To help our struggling brothers in arms and sisters in arms, the Legion works on a global level, lobbying for legislation affecting veterans' homelessness, and acts on local level, directly assisting veterans who have fallen on tough times and are without a place to live or facing the prospect of it. So not only do we have it here in New Jersey, there's one in every state, but we go in February, they go to Washington, and we lobby for better legislation and better rules and laws, trying to get things put in place. In New Jersey, we're lucky. We have a lot of it. Bergen County alone, I know, my Bergen County Veteran Services are actually our service officers. So we have extra VSOs, and I have Catholic Charities, and we have Garden State, and a bunch of other. This is everybody that I work with. Garden State Home, Catholic Charities, Trinity Center for Community, Community Hope, Bridges Demanding Change, Operation Chill Out, Soldier On, and I have about 30 others. So when you get a veteran that comes in, first you want to find out if they're homeless, if they have any problems, and confirm that they are a veteran. Once you get that done, do you know who to call afterwards? How many of you in here are county commanders and DECs? Please raise your hands. Okay, county commanders and DECs? Anybody? Okay, all right. Your post is going to call either your county commander. If your county commander doesn't answer, you call your DECs. Word to the wise to the DECs and the county commanders: if I'm calling you, don't leave your read receipts on and tell me you don't get it. Because it's happened, okay? Just because you don't answer the phone doesn't mean it's not your problem. We have 21 counties. I've got 9 representatives for EH&E, and I'm still looking for more. I'm the guy that gets the phone calls at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Friday or a Saturday, and there's really not much that we can do. So my first goal is I'll take one of these. I'll have them call 855 SOS Vets. That's Catholic Charities. That gets them into, starts to get the ball rolling. Catholic Charities is sponsored by the Bring Veterans Home initiative, where they got extra money in order to do 3 to 5 day stays. I also have a partnership with all of them, that because the American Legion signed off on a few of those, they'll give us 3 to 5 day stays. I put this out in my last report. If no one's got it, see me and give me your email, and I'll give you all of this documentation that you can call people as well. I keep a running record of everybody that comes in. So it goes back to your DEC and your county commanders. They'll call me. We'll discuss the situation once they've verified that the person is actually a veteran. And then we'll get them a 3 to 5 day stay with one of these organizations. After that, the hope is is that this organization will get them into permanent housing, group home, drug treatment facility, whatever they need. You know, there are other organizations also like Sharon McGreevy that deals with a veteran that may have a police record, that might have just gotten out of jail and is homeless, and they have a reintegration system. So this is all the things that we do within education, homeless, and employment. My goal, my hope, my prayer is that within the next few years, the American Legion actually breaks into its own outreach and starts doing its own outreach, because all this that we sign off on, we can actually be doing it ourselves. We could take, you know, and all this money that we sign off on that everybody else gets, we could get some of it and maybe start doing our own outreach. And if we can get a representative from EH&E in every county, then that means we can actually really start building just the way the Moving Forward Committee is doing this, and we can teach in every county and show you how it's done, and then have better resources and keep our resources growing until we can actually be just as big, if not bigger, and not only starting from A to Z, from getting the veteran, from getting them clothing, from getting them food, getting them temporary housing, emergency shelter, and then getting them into regular shelter in an apartment. And with that, you could also get them to be members of the American Legion. So it works dually. Does anybody have any questions for me? No? Has any of you ever had a homeless veteran come in off the street to your post? And what did you do?
We had a homeless veteran in Tom's River, and we got him in touch with Soldier On.
Mm-hmm.
They did a good job setting him up in a hotel and everything. And then we set him up with the food pantry. Judith Morales helping us up in Newark, sending some gift certificates for food. And then we got him in touch with the VA, and they're helping him with his rent now.
And how many people have had repeat people come back to you? Okay.
Yeah, so in Post 348, we've had a number of situations where people have come looking for assistance. And in one case, we moved them across the street to the Lenape Motel for one night and proceeded to vet them through the system, and found out that they were called the Wawa couple, and they would just go from Wawa to Wawa and hit all the VSOs in the area until they could secure a new cache of stuff and move on. So that was one. The second one was a very good friend of mine. There's an article in a Monmouth County paper this week about him. He called, he asked for help. I called Chuck Robbins. We got him a bed at Veterans Haven North. When we got there the next day, he had shot himself in the head during the night.
Oh, no.
So I actually had a veteran, 26-year-old, wasn't handled properly. Let's say he's paranoid schizophrenic. I stayed with him every night at the hotel. Then he disappeared on me the day before he was supposed to go to Vet Haven. Couldn't find him for 3 weeks. Decided to go to the VA. Now I went a little out of my wheelhouse, and they can't give you information, but they say, listen, I brought him here. I helped get him an ID card, and so I found out that instead of going to Vet Haven, he wound up just going back to East Orange to be put back in. I'd like to say everyone's a success story, but that doesn't happen all the time, and you can't take it personally. You can help everybody, but you can't save everybody.
So just to add to that, Dennis, one of the issues when Ryan Talbot came home was that he didn't want to release control of his firearms. So when the VA asked him if he was suicidal, he repeatedly denied it because he didn't want anyone to take control of his firearms. And so for the very reason that he should have given them up and wouldn't give them up, he was the greatest danger to himself.
And that happens. And what I'm hoping is that we only get to see the veteran come in, and then we get them emergency housing, and then we think that we're done. The goal with what I'd like to reach with outreaches is not just getting them into emergency housing. Is it's education, homeless, and employment. So once we get them stable and in housing, I'd like to find out how we can re-educate them, how we can get them employment if they need it, which in turn uses our VSOs, because if they're not able to work, then maybe they have a service-connected injury. So we can't do that, once we hand them off to another organization and they sign with that organization, they really don't have to tell us anything anymore. So that's why I said we can help people, but we can't save them all. But if we become our own outreach, we can help them, save them, maybe get them to be a member, and get them to become a productive part of society, which gives them meaning and fulfillment. There are some people maybe in this room that understand what that is, when some people, they feel like going from a hero to zero. They have nothing left. They don't understand. They can't acclimate back to proper life. I had a veteran that didn't want to come off the streets. He was happy getting up in the morning, Marine, getting up in the morning, lived in his car, went to the church, got the coffee, the bagels, and everything for AA. Man never had a drink in his life. Then at lunch, goes to the Patterson Soup Kitchen, gets his food, then goes to the gym at night to take a shower, and then goes and sleeps back in his car. That's what this guy did for 7 years. And when I brought him up to Lions, he gave me a hard time, and I pulled over. I actually told him to get out of my car. I said, I'm doing this as a volunteer. I don't get paid for this stuff. He's like, oh, you're not? I said, no, I'm doing this to help you. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I said, can I ask you a question? I said, do you want to come off the streets? He said, no. He says, I'm doing it because my family wants me to. Now, he was working at the dollar store. He's 78 now, so he was still working at the dollar store part-time. And he lives in an apartment. But when he first got that apartment, he needed a reclining chair. Why did he need a reclining chair? Can anybody tell me? Because he couldn't sleep laying down. So these are things like these. Those are success stories. You know, it happens. So that's what education, homelessness, and employment does. We don't just give out awards for people who employ other veterans. It's great, but we're so much more here in the Department of New Jersey, which is why I love this position so much, and I want to see it grow. Yes?
Up in Sussex County, we got a lot of forests and stuff, and there are veterans out there that just don't want anything to do with anybody or anything. They live off the land. You go talk to them, they want nothing to do with it.
So according to Bring Veterans Hope, what you do is, if we had outreach, or you get outreach, you get them sleeping bags, you get them clothing, you tell them and you reiterate, hey, we're here if you need us. Give them your cell phone number. They'll call you when they need something. Or when, like December 6th, we're having a Bergen County stand down, or like Northern New Jersey, okay? So I'll give people, I get a bunch of sleeping bags, I get pillows, I get stuff like that. I have boxes full of blankets. If you need them, I'll drive them up myself. Yeah. That's what you do.
I know Demava came up to us a year ago, and they had to talk with us. And
well, believe it or not,
the Branchville Post mainly was the one saying they just don't want anything to do with anybody. They want to be Rambo.
Right, but when they need you, they will come to you. And you could just let them know, reiterate, hey, we're here. And according to the BVH and Demava, your county is the highest populated of homeless veterans.
I understand that.
And nobody would think that. I would have thought it was Ocean County. I call.
Dennis,
yes.
We've had a couple in Somerset County that you've helped us with. We've put them up temporarily. Somerville Post 12 did 3 days. My post did 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's coming back.
Yeah.
Hitting us up for utility bills. Yeah, kind of like a Wawa person, like Kerry said. They just go around and use the system.
Right.
And then you have the VA, which has the outreach coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They go out to the homeless communities where they know they are, but these people know when they're coming, and they disappear. They don't want anything to do with the VA or the Legion or anybody. Just leave us alone.
Yep. And I know. I call that a case of the gimmies.
Yeah.
So Sophia will know. A few years ago, I don't know if you remember. So if you remember, like 6-7 years ago, we had a guy that was hitting up every post in Bergen County. He made the paper, and he was just going in. He didn't want help, but he just wanted the money. And I remember, because that was one of the first things that we did. And Sophia, we blasted it out everywhere. What I consider myself lucky because I have our Bergen County Veteran Services. I can call him at 1 in the morning. He'll answer, hey, can you go on Foursquare and check this guy for me and make sure he's a veteran? Can you also let me know if you've ever used him before? So I got a guy from Ocean County, a guy with a dog, and his girlfriend that are in a car. They say, oh, call this guy. No, I don't want to call him. I know him. Meaning he knows me because I've helped him already up here. Then I've helped him in Central Jersey. Now he's down in Ocean County. Now he's down in Cape May County.
He's moving south.
So, well, yeah, I guess he wants fun in the sun that you can get up here. So the point I'm getting to you is, the more, guys, I'm gonna finish it up, so listen up.
One speaker.
Again, we have 9 members in my committee. We need 21. Each committee member has and will have all this information. The other thing I am working on is trying to compile a list so that we can vet these people through. There's plenty of times I've gotten, and Tony can tell you, I got an email from Tony a couple months ago. I'm like, I know this guy. I knew him, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I thought you had an apartment. I thought you were in a program. Well, I got back together with my girlfriend, and there you go. So there are always extenuating circumstances, but there is going to come a time where you also have to say no. Unfortunately, that's one of the hardest parts of my job. And I've got email threads that say, hey, I've helped this person as much as I can. They don't want to help themselves. I've turned them over to Community Hope. I've turned them over to Soldier On. I've turned them over to Catholic Charities. And they will go. So you all know, they will go from house to house to house to house to house to house, and then beg the last person again, well, I already went to them and they couldn't help me. And when you find out why they couldn't help you, because you keep leaving your programs, unfortunately, it happens. It's not your fault. So you get them from point A to B, let them take the rest until they call you again in 6 months, and it will happen. Yes?
So we're representing today Post 281 in Camden County, and on our post, our commander was a past DIC. His name was Sean Balo, and they give us some information. What we're explained to do is Tony Santinella, who's also spearheading a lot of the homeless, which I'm also part of the committee, we're building an actual homeless community, as you probably know. What we are told to do, because we are not educated on everything, is at our meetings, if we know of a homeless vet or we're familiar with what's going on, we are to give it to these 2 people, and then they actually will do the steps accordingly, what you're saying, to make sure that this...
And that's fine. You have a housing set up and you have people set up, and it doesn't always have to go through the American Legion.
And the other thing that has not been talked about, we have somebody that was a veteran, without naming his name, that has been a veteran for a long time and holds positions, that lost everything in a fire. And there's also for people that are now homeless that were veterans that are part of the American Legion family, to help them as well. So that's the other part of it.
And we have housing in Emerson, and they just broke ground on the actual post.
Yes.
So I mean, and a lot, and I will tell you, one of the biggest downfalls is a lot of these people that go into these housings that are on Legion property don't want to be Legion members. And you can't force somebody to be a member and say, oh, well, you can't live here if you're not a member. You can only ask them to become a member. So it is dual purpose. Like I'm telling you, you get a homeless person off the street, and then you say, hey, are you a member of our organization? Would you like to be? And you sign them up. So it does work both ways, but don't remember, once you sign them up, don't just let them go, because now they're your family. Now you need to follow up, which again is why I want us to start doing our own outreach, because you can't just let go of a family member, no matter what. Now they're your family, and that's what it's all about, right? I always tell people, it's easy to do this, but you have to be about it. This is just a picture. This is actually doing. Any more questions? Thank you.
We're moving along very nicely. I'm just going to say a few words about that, right? It's very good as we go through the day. I basically just improvise and adapt and overcome. That's the United States Marine in me that will always be there. So, before we go further, the bathrooms, if you need to use them, are in the back hall right there. You have 2 emergency exits. You also have one that way, just in case you have to get out. That's the first responder in me, okay, being a former firefighter. Yeah, exactly. So we always like to go over that brief little safety statement. Also, we're going to do something a little differently today. We're going to, normally what we always do is we go through the leadership right in the very beginning of the workshop. So what we're going to do today is, and that's what me and Tony were talking about, is we're going to stagger it. So we come back from the break, we're going to have the American Legion Auxiliary come up and present to you, and then we're going to have another presentation from the Legion, then we're going to do the SAL. So we're going to work on like every hour, 10-minute break. All right, we're going to have lunch at 12:30. Be mindful, we want to keep the speakers up here for no more than 30 minutes. That includes your questions, all right? So we want you to ask questions. We want you to learn. Now, I'd like to say something about what Dennis just talked about. You know, we talked about the education. We talked about the employment. Everybody's good with that, right? We have our own committee. You can call Dennis, and he can put you in the right direction for a GI Bill, for vocational rehabilitation. There's all kinds of programs to help veterans. They're always improving. And the most important thing, though, is let's throw something out here, right? What's the number that you give to a veteran that's in distress? Or, and 988, Veteran Crisis Line, right? What number do you hit? 1. And let's be real. Like Commander Channel said, the real deal, right? You're a veteran in crisis. Do you want to be talking to a doctor that's 26 years old and never served in the military? You'll eventually get there probably, but or do you want to be talking to a veteran to get you to the right place to help you? That answer, I don't need an answer back because I know what you're thinking, the same thing I am. Now, Dennis, did you give everybody your number?
It's on there.
All right, everybody got his number? Take his number down. Let everybody have your number. Just put it out there. Nobody's even paying attention to the slides anymore. Look at this. Not even 11 o'clock in the morning yet.
Dennis, I don't have your number.
867-5309.
I bet some of you went to write it down too, right? 973-842-5887. No, that was breathing. 973-842-5887. That's the only phone I have. So yes.
Does everybody have that? Yeah. All right, so you have a veteran in your county that has any questions on education, employment, and housing that cannot be answered through whatever services that you use, such as Soldier On, Bring Veterans Home, New Jersey, SOS, Catholic Charities. They're all good. They're all good. But I'd like to say something about that. Would you like to add, Dennis? Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, they are good, but they're contractors. Okay, so they and I know what Jack's going to say because Jack and I work with these people every day. If you call them and they're not calling you back, please call me because I love calling them. It's the only way I can get my impressions out. No, that's what my therapist says. But no, all joking aside, call me because what they'll do is they'll put them up for their 3 to 5 day stay, and then all of a sudden they can't get the voucher, they can't get this, they can't get that, they've got held up on paperwork. Call me, I'll make a call, and if that organization can't, thanks for the 3 to 5 day, and I'll move on to the next one. And they all think they're better than the other. All right. So once they know that, oh, we'll go here. No, you can't do that. Because remember, these people get state funding. They get the Bring Veterans Home money to get the vouchers and all that, and it's a great program. And next one, maybe we'll have somebody here for Bring Veterans Home and tell you how we work with them. But yeah, so you have to, if they're not calling you back or not calling the veteran back, and 95% of the time, the veteran will say, they're not calling me back. Call me, I'll call them. But you have any, I'm good.
What else you got?
I got nothing.
Are you reading my mind? You could never do that. No, all good. All right, listen, basically that's where I was going, okay? So just to explain this to you. You call up a veteran service provider. They remove that veteran from the street, for 3 to 5 days in a hotel. All right? That's not where it ends, though. What does that do with veteran? They get a shower, they get a couple meals, and then they're back out on the street? No. So emergency housing is 3 to 5 days. Then they're put into a program like Bring Veteran Home. Bring Veterans Home, which is funded by DeMarva with $30 million. And they have representatives in every county. Catholic Charities, New Jersey SOS is within 15 counties of the state of New Jersey. Soldier On is statewide. Utilize these resources. But I wanted you to see Dennis. I wanted you to hear Dennis, because if you don't have a resource in your post or your county that you know of, you have one now. And it will go in the right direction. Because when that veteran is removed from the street, they go through the process that I just explained, and then they're referred to a caseworker that gets them into the VA, that if they do have a disability that they don't know about or they need an increase in disability, they're hooked up with a VSO. If they need mental health counseling, they get it through the VA or an outside agency. It's all-inclusive wraparound services. Have we heard that? Yeah. This is what happens when you make that phone call. It's not just the hotel. And what I suggest that you do is, once that veteran is removed from the situation that they're in, monitor it the best you can. And then once they're given to one of these veteran service organizations, you can let it go. Because as soon as they got the caseworker, they're on their way. And I heard multiple people say this in the room, okay? And we are going to do something at some point with this training for suicide prevention. That's really, Be the One is a great program, and we are being the one, and it is saving lives. Be the One, right? But here's the deal. All you can do is be the one and do the best that you can. All right? We don't have the power to decide what happens to a veteran. But we do have the power, and we do have the knowledge and the skills and the resources to take that veteran that is in crisis and put them in a better situation. Can we agree on that? Yeah. And that's what we do in the American Legion, because we take care of veterans, all kinds of veterans, all inclusive. We don't look the other way. We don't leave anybody behind. And we take care of the veteran family, because we are the real deal. All right? We are the real deal. And I thank all of you out there who have done this type of work, because I know everybody has. You heard it in the room. And there's no greater action that you could take in life than to save another's life, especially a fellow veteran. Can we agree on that? All right, you did so well. You got a 10-minute break. We'll see you in 10 minutes, all right?
We are the American Legion Department of New Jersey. Be the One.